Hey, I don't have the I don't have all the sounds that Jimmy does. So, hi everybody. Welcome to episode 111 of Side Friend Chronicles. 111 episodes, guys. That's wild. Today's episode is brought to you by me and only me, Miss Soto Dolo. So what's up, guys? It's been a week. I know some of you caught last week's episode, which was fun. And those of you tuning in right now, thank you, Lucho. Thank you, Keith, for showing up for your girl. I appreciate you. You guys are probably wondering why I am potting solo today. And I will tell you. As of right now, our friend Jimmy, Mr. Daddy Goodz, is going to be taking a break from Side Friend Chronicles to focus on the other projects that he has going for him. And we want to be fully supportive of that. And this does take time and attention away from that. And we support him on those adventures, endeavors, all the things. So in the meantime, I don't know how long, you will just have me. So hope you're okay with that. This is very nerve-wracking for me. I've never podcasted solo before in my life. I talk to myself all day, every day. So I'm not a stranger to just talking. But it is weird talking and not having a response. Like, I see you guys in the comments. What's up, Royce? What is up, McClendon? Mwah. But not having that immediate, that banter, that back and forth, the response to kind of feed off of, to make it a real conversation is going to be weird. I feel like I do those pre-pod, like pre-game things on Instagram Live where I am basically talking to myself. Sometimes I am. Sometimes nobody joins those, and I'm just like sitting there like, okay. But sometimes you guys do join. Like today, it was pretty poppin', and I appreciate those of you who did show up and converse with me. Yes, Royce. Makes sense. Figured as much, but I'm happy to see his new pod growing. This is going to be your baby for you. Yep. Yeah. This is my baby. This is my original baby, right? And we worked really hard to get where we're at. And I understand that he needs to take some time, and I fully support that. That's what I told him. But I'm not going to stop. So here I am. You guys get me. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes, right? I feel like when people have solo podcasts, because they exist, they're out there, right? I think that oftentimes it's like a professional with some kind of like their expertise is in this or that, right? And what they bring to the podcast is information that they want to share. They want to teach you something. They prepare it ahead of time and all those things. Today, I did not have the opportunity to do that. It was a very, very last minute decision. So I don't have anything super prepared for you today. I did have a couple of things come up. which actually, Royce, I hope you remember, because my phone is not accessible to me right now, so I don't even know why I took a screenshot of that. Some topics did come up in conversation on my Instagram live, my pre-game pod thing on Instagram. So I will be discussing those things today. I don't know if I can do an entire hour alone, so this might be short and sweet, but that's okay. It's better to be here than to not be here, right? So yeah, let's see. Let's see what these comments say. We have to start booking you guests. Yeah, no, for sure. That is on my radar, having some slide throughs. If you guys know anybody that's, an entrepreneur, small business owner, some kind of artist or creative that you want to see or that you think would want to be on the podcast, holler at me, DM me. On my Instagram, it's right there on the screen. Oh wait, I gotta do this because it's right here. This is weird because this is not where I see it this way flipped. And we can probably make that happen. So yes, that's the 411. That's the lowdown. That's what it is. Totally want to be transparent with you guys, per usual, trying to keep it real, as real as possible. So on to a topic, I guess, right? I don't know how these transitions, they're not going to be very smooth. It's a muscle. We're going to work at it. So Royce, you did bring up, propaganda being tossed around that continues to divide men and women instead of uniting us. So the way that I feel about that, and this is without me really having a lot of time to think about this and then communicate to you guys, like articulate my thoughts on that. I will say that men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? Tale as old as time, men, women, that like binary, two different people, two different worlds, two different ways of operating, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think that it's easier to focus on the ways that we're different rather than the ways that we are similar, and the way that I think that, like you said, propaganda, I think it all depends who it's coming from and what their agenda is, right? I think that there's a lot of ways to make money off of people on both sides of this spectrum, that is male and female. I think that it's an easy distraction. I think that it's easy to relate to when you think about our differences. You see people in relationships, you see even just memes on social media, right? Where it's like Justin LeBoy's account, for instance. That is a one I follow. Those memes are really funny, but they're also divisive, right? Like it's him against her, them against us. What's up, Nelson? I'm glad to see you back. I haven't seen you in a while. But I think that in politics, it's definitely used to divide us. I think that it's easy to make us fight about shit like that and to really get us going. I don't know how you feel about it, Royce. I would love to hear what you think about it as well. I just think it's always easier to put us against each other and not. I think we become dangerous, like people in general, when you find when you find things that make you like connect you, right? Like things that you guys can relate to that help you connect on a deeper level. I think that if people started to unite, like you said, it would cause a lot of problems for the people who make a lot of money off us not being united. And that's what I think about that. I think right now. I don't know. I'm probably going to think about this later and be like, oh, I should have said this, or oh, I should have said this, because I be doing that all the time. I'll even listen to our own podcasts. And as I'm listening to us speak, things come to my brain. And I'm like, oh man, I should have added that, because I like totally feel this way. And I can't believe I didn't think about it at that moment. That happens. And I feel like when I was trying to answer this question, I was kind of going in circles and trying to figure out how the fuck to say what I was thinking, because I'm super fucking nervous right now. But here I am. Nelson, you are firing off a lot of things in these comments. Thank you for joining us. I have been well. I've been here, Nelson. You haven't been here. I have. Morty Smith wants to know if Daddy Goodz is a black man trapped in a white body. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I think he's going to have to answer that. You should put that in the actual comments, and then maybe he'll respond to you. Royce says, it's definitely easier to pit people against others because it comes more natural, ironically, to be negative. It does. Positivity takes work, and so many people live in fantasy lands and don't want to see what's right in front of them, which is reality. I think that it is easier to default to a negative mindset, right? Because when you're thinking about all the ways that it can't work, or it's not gonna work, or something's not possible, then you're like absolving yourself of any like responsibility and accountability, right? So like if you're hyper focused on these negative things, you won't even try to do the things. And then if you don't try to do the things, then you don't fail, and you can't tell yourself, well, like, you know what I mean? Like all the shit that comes with that, all the ups and downs that come with failure, right? So I think it's just easier to like focus on the negative and prevent yourself from even trying to take that step than it is to think about what if this could work and then trying and failing. It's a lot easier to like cut yourself off than be rejected or denied or fail and all those things. So that's totally, I agree, 1000%. You also say, Royce, so because folks see what they want, they actually allow themselves to be lemmings and further their agenda, which I feel is to break up the nuclear family. Well, the nuclear family is an interesting thing because in 2022, it's not, I don't think it's like realistic or feasible, or I don't think it works in today's society. I think back in the 50s, 60s, the nuclear family worked because you could afford to survive off one income. Usually that was dad went to work, mom stayed home, cared for the home and the children, right? But he could afford the mortgage alone. He could buy a house. Nowadays, you need multiple incomes to survive, just like basic survival. So I don't think that the nuclear family is a realistic idea anymore. So whether it was to break up the nuclear family or not, maybe more women working, you know, it being, I don't know, feeding that kind of thing. No one has said nuclear family since 1962. Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I said. Like, that's not a thing anymore. Like, I don't know. I know very few people who are married and their woman stays home and cares for the kids. Like, that's a really, really rare thing. And like I said, with rent being what it is now, houses costing what they cost now, you can't do it on a teacher's salary or, just a normal job salary. You need multiple incomes. And I just don't think that that's a realistic plan for a family anymore. I don't think that that's a thing, which sucks because childcare is very expensive. I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years when my kids were really little, because everything I made at that job went to gas and childcare. So I was paying just to work, and not spend any time with my kids and have somebody else raise them. And that wasn't something that I felt was worth it. So I ultimately just stopped working. And it was still hard because he barely made enough money to get us by. There were times where we didn't have money for milk and shit like that. So it sucked because we needed a double income, but it wasn't possible until the kids went to the free daycare, which is public schools, right? So that's that. Let's see what else you guys are saying in here. And guess why? Because we've been turned against each other. If we are bringing in 2 incomes or more, we'll still be divided against each other. Yeah, we are. But I had a man tell me one time that it's women's fault that shit costs what it does and we get paid less and all these things because we wanted to work. And it really annoyed me because that's not how shit worked. Women went to work when men were at war, right? Women and children went to work. I think this started in World War I. And so in order to actually keep the economy and shit moving, women had to go to work. And so for men like that to say that we ruined everything because we just really wanted to work, be men, is really ignorant and ill-informed. And so I think that is kind of where it sort of began, but also I think that nuclear family wasn't always safe for women. I think that a lot of men, it was a control thing too. And I think that that's women's biggest push for independence is because they don't want to be controlled financially or any other way. And it is still kind of being done that way by women making less. Why would that be a bad thing to want to work? So he basically is saying that wages, we would be able to afford to survive off one income if women didn't push so hard to work, because then wages wouldn't be competitive. Men would be going and getting the job and being making more money because they wouldn't have to compete with women to do it. And it was just a weird conversation. But that to me sounds like a man who's needs to have control, right? Even I know women, I was one of them when I was in that relationship. This is not to bash my kid's dad, people are the way that they are. No hard feelings. I'm over it. But one of the ways that when I did stop working, it was continued to make sure that I don't how do I say this? I became not allowed to work, and then in order to like I needed money for groceries. Like I had to ask because I didn't have any money of my own. Like I had to ask for the money so that I could like go buy groceries or something, you know? So like it's a financial control, like that is abuse. And it is a form of it. If that makes sense. I don't know where I was going with that, but Morty Smith sounds like his name is actually Daddy Goodz. Something tell me she is not over it. No, I definitely am. I'm just not trying. I'm trying to have some, what's the word, tact, and not like blast and bash people on this pod today. So that's why I'm trying to be very careful how I word shit. Who would I abort, Roe or Wade? I would have aborted Morty Smith. Just kidding. You sound like you can take a joke. What else was I saying? I totally forgot. Squirrel. Yeah, it's probably Jimmy. Anyways, what else were we talking about, Royce? I might as well have had you on the podcast, right? We were also talking about, did I even finish the story I was saying with the guy and like how like women had to go work because of World War I, and like that's like it's, but he didn't know that. I don't think he knew that. I think he just said what he said because he thought he was onto something, and then he wasn't. He said essentially women going to work made it more competitive, and so that's why we get paid less, and then that's why shit is the way that it is. So he's very wrong. But what else did you say here? Yeah, no, I think that divided. How do I get my OnlyFans up and running? I don't know. I don't have an OnlyFans, so you're gonna have to ask somebody who knows. Biological things between men and women. Oh yeah, okay, you're right. So I did bring this up in my pre-game pod. I think it was because we were talking about how there was somebody in my comments there that I actually went to high school with, and he said I look the same. And I don't think that, but I did say that I think I have gotten better with age, which is an interesting thing to say because I do, obviously I have wrinkles, right? Like I spent most of my life like this, like mad. So like I have this like wrinkle, like right here in my forehead, like between my eyebrows. My mom has the same one. It's like the one she has. I have the same one. And so like there is the presence of that. But even so, with the presence of that, I still feel like I look younger in my 30s than I did in my 20s. Because I go back and I look at pictures of me in my 20s and I feel like I look old as fuck. And maybe it's the way I did my makeup versus now. Like I wear less of it now than I did then. I also don't have the skin issues now that I did then. So I'm not really trying to hide much anymore. And I wonder if that's maybe what it is. Hi, Zumbo. But what I was saying was, and then someone said, you know, you're aging like wine, yada, you know, what they said. And I think I'm getting better with age, even though I do look like I have wrinkles now that I didn't have, but whatever. But I just look and feel better. Maybe it's a 30s confidence thing as a woman. But a man said he's aging like milk, and I was like, men are given the grace to age that women aren't given, right? You hear a lot of women, I mean, most women have been into older guys, from like teenagers, totally into older guys, right? 20-year-olds, pretty much into men older than them most of the time. Very rare are they like into a guy their age or even younger, right? But men are always, not always, I'm not saying all men, I'm going to be careful with that, generally attracted to younger women or women who look young. And it like dawned on me, I'm like, oh yeah, but that could be like a biological thing, right? Because back in the day, like a woman becomes a woman, like this is the idea, you become a woman when you get your period. A lot of women get their periods at a young age. Like it's between like 9 years old and like 14, 15 years old, right? So you could be in 3rd grade and starting your period. And then at that point, which they didn't have school like that back then, but at that point you were considered like ready to be married off, right? Like you have started your period, now you can produce children, like you go get married and do that. That's like the way of the world, right? And it's usually like older guys. Like my grandma was actually in an arranged marriage. She was 15 years old and she was married to my grandpa who was 27. That's a pretty big age difference in my eyes. Like that's inappropriate. But that was a thing. And I think that because of that, like that attraction, I don't know if it was like not just like social conditioning, but for like a long period of a time, like that becomes like a thing, right? Like inside you, that's like intrinsic, implicit, like inside you. I don't know the word right now, but and I think that that's what it is. Like you guys are given a lot of grace. Like older men are attractive. Like I love seeing a salt and pepper beard. Like I love seeing a little grays in your hair. Like that's hot to me. I like a man who's not like baby faced, right? Like a man, not a boy, right? And I think that for that reason, a lot of men are given the grace to age. But nowadays, like women are not given the same grace to age, especially with social media and all that shit. Like, yeah, I think intrinsic. Social media, with this constant pressure to appear completely flawless, to have plump, smooth, perfect skin, plump lips. Like, like these chicks don't just get fillers in their lips. They get it in underneath their eyes, their cheeks, their chin, their foreheads. Like they get this shit everywhere to appear plump and youthful. And I just feel like there's a lot more pressure on us to do so than there is on men. I think you guys can age. Oh, he's hot. Oh, he's hot. Oh, he looks good. Oh, he's just getting better with age. But us, it's like, oh, you're like morphing into this ugly little thing. Oh my God, your neck, your chest looks old. Your fucking elbows look old. Like all these things. And it's like, God damn it. Can't we fucking just be human? Like where, in what space can we be safe and human? Right? Like, I don't know where that is. I don't like, it's home when I'm not on my phone or in any way, right? I could just like sit there and just like be all weird and have like a triple chin and shit. And like, it don't matter. I'm by myself. Like nobody's judging me. Right. But if I'm in like a space where there's people, like you got to make sure, you're uptight and like the shit isn't hanging when you look a certain way. Like make sure you wear your makeup right so that it contours the right places. And, moisturize the fuck out of your body, girl, because you need to look youthful. I just think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit. I think it's fucking whack. I think that I'm going to continue to be the girl that doesn't have the surgeries and stuff. Just to like protest. Like, honestly, part of me is curious. Like, okay, what if I got like a little bit of something here and there? But the other part of me is like, no, you talk a lot of shit about this. You made a stance. You need to stay there. And like, it's like being a Charger fan, right? Like, love my fucking Chargers, but these motherfuckers just really, it's very frustrating to be a Charger fan. But you said fuck you to the Raiders so many times, right? Fuck the Raiders, fuck the Broncos, fuck the Chiefs, fuck the Patriots. You said all this shit, right? So like, now they move to LA. What do? You can't go back. You have to stay a Chargers fan. You've already talked shit to everybody else. That's how it is for me, but like with plastic surgery and like Botox and all that shit. So I'm just gonna be a wrinkly ass Charger fan, and that's like my stance on life right now. Like, you said it, fucking stand by it and be that, right? Let's see. Men can beat women at arm wrestling. That's why we're the superior sex. You think you can. I don't think that makes you the superior sex. I think that we can have whole children come out of our body. So that makes us the superior sex. Just saying. Royce, that is the question I've kept asking myself all year. Why can't we realize that we're all human and have safe spaces for us to unite? I just want that peace in my life at this point. But you and me both, brother. You and me both. Oh, Zumbo, I still appreciate you. Look, we did this. I did this. I said we. Me, myself, and I. That's who the we is. I did this at this time because for the people on the East Coast, it worked really well for them. It is super early for those of us on the West Coast. So if you're like driving home, you're still at work, you're at the gym or something, and you're tuning in right now, you're a fucking real one, and I appreciate you. Because this is not a convenient time for us to like chill and like listen to something right now. So thank you. I really, really appreciate those of you who've tuned in, who've stayed tuned in, listened to my rambling and me trying to find my words, because I'm still very nervous about the fact that I'm talking to my fucking self. Not really. I mean, I'm talking to you guys, but like by myself. It's a weird thing. You wouldn't understand unless you did it. It's not easy. I've never had stage fright though, so here I am. Men and women are complements to each other, not better than one another, not less than one another, just pieces that fit together. That's a nice thing to say. But I'm still going to tell Morty Smith that I'm the superior sex because he tried me. That's why I don't like the divisive propaganda that keeps separating men and women, because we actually need each other more than we realize. Right. Like, I realized that I couldn't just cook up a baby in my body without the seed being planted, right? Like, it takes two to tango, 1000%. Let's see. American sports are hilarious. Teams just up and move to a different part of their fans be like, cool. American sports. Where are you from, Morty? You're new here. I feel like... let us know. And men can beat those babies at arm wrestling, so we're still superior. Yeah, no. If I fucking grabbed you by the dick, I don't think you'd feel very fucking superior. Actually, I am almost positive you would fucking drop to one knee, at least. Maybe both. So, keep talking your shit, Morty. Anyways, where are we at in time here? How am I doing, guys? I'm gonna watch this again and I'm gonna take notes, And then I'm going to come to class next week very prepared to pod solo again, unless, Daddy Goodz changes his mind and thinks that 1 week was good enough for him and his break. What was I going to say right now? I am doing great. Thank you, Keith. You are super supportive. If you guys ever need some really good dad jokes, Keith is the man. Keith comes through with a dad joke daily for me, actually. It's just that little thing, that little haha you need to start your day. Keith is there. Thank you, Zumbo. I appreciate you. Where is Daddy Goodz with a Z? Daddy Goodz is taking a break from Side Friend Chronicles to focus on his other projects right now, and we wish him the best. That's where he's at. If you were here at the beginning of the show, you would have heard that. Thank you, Zumbo. Keith. Oh yeah, Keith is a talented artist as well, guys. I think he has an Instagram. You should drop it right here in the comments, Keith, if you want people to check it out. Maybe commission a painting or two from this man. Let's all support each other. If you have some kind of a business or something, drop it in the comments, not just on the live stream, because I don't think that you can see those if you go back and watch it. I'm not positive. I haven't looked into it that much, but you can drop a comment on the video if you are a small business or have a side hustle or passion project and you want people to support you or check out your work. Use the comments to network, guys. I'm totally about that shit. I am 1000% in support of it. Do that. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the subscribe. If you want notifications like Hassam, who will maybe or maybe not see this. He's in Dubai. His time's, different. Make sure you hit that little bell icon and you'll get a notification every time. I kind of was putting these thumbnails on last minute because I had to collaborate with someone to get a time. But if I'm going to be doing it by myself, then I'll know exactly what time I'm going to be podcasting. So I'll be able to actually schedule it out in advance. And it will be easier that way. So as of right now, that's what it's looking like. I don't know how long or if it's a permanent thing. I'm not positive, but I'm here in the meantime. Side Friend slide-throughs will be happening if you or somebody wants to be on the podcast and they got something going on that they want to share, even if they're a good storyteller, something I'm down. If you want to chit chat, let me know, holler at me in my DMs. My Instagram is right here. If you don't follow me or if I don't follow you, I forgot how it goes. It'll go into my message requests and I check those maybe once a week. Just to see what's new. If it's a weird thirsty post, I don't respond to it. But if it's actually something of substance, I'll respond to it. So if that's where you are, message me. I am super open to having you on the show. What else was I going to say? I don't know. I think that might be it, actually. Side Friend slide through solo podcast. I'll have that scheduled ahead of time. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want me to address? Want to know my opinion on? Don't care about my opinion? Let me go. We're at 40 minutes in. Can you be on the podcast? You just bought Twitter. Yeah, okay. That's Jimmy. I'm fucking convinced that's Jimmy. So thanks for joining the podcast, Jimmy, in the comments. I appreciate your support too. So I think that I'm going to leave it at that, actually, guys. So also, maybe I'll put a question box on my Instagram. If there's anything specifically you want me to address. I never really ask you guys what you guys want me to talk about. I always kind of bring that shit myself. but I'm open to it. So you let me know, and then we will get it poppin'. All right. Well, thank you for joining my first solo podcast. Definitely a learning experience, and I appreciate those of you who did support me and come through and are here for the conversation for reals and not just the feet thing. I appreciate you. Yeah, have a good week, everybody. I will see you next Thursday. Maybe I'll have you guys vote on a time to see what's better for everybody. Just look for that on Side Friends Podcast Instagram, which is right here, Side Friend Chronicles, and then maybe on mine as well, because my following's bigger. So, yeah, have a good evening, everybody. I love you all. Mwah.